Hello, hello everyone. This is the bond valuation assignment submitted by Karthik Ganesan for the subject financial and accounting skill for managers. This is the week 5 assignment. So to give an overview of this assignment, here we will be discussing the comparison of two bonds, bond A and bond B. And let's say those two bonds share same credit ratings, equal par values, and same coupon rates. And the only difference between those two bonds is their maturity period. Bond A has a maturity period of 30 years, whereas the bond B has a maturity period of 5 years. And in this presentation, we will be analyzing the bonds susceptibility to interest rate hikes, the bonds value in the market, and what happens when the market price hike changes, market interest rate changes, and as an investor, what's my strategy if there is a slowdown to be expected in the next 12 months? What will be my investment strategy? So the first question is which bond will be trading at a higher price, and for that my answer is bond A, because bond A has a maturity period of 30 years compared to bond B, which makes it a long-term bond, and people always rely on long-term bond because they can pay minimal payments for a longer period of time, and they also have a longer maturity, which means a longer stability, and higher demand is equal to higher market price in the long run. And the next question is the impact of interest hikes on bonds. What happens when there is an interest hike, and how does that affect these two bonds? When the interest rate goes up, there will be decrease in market prices. And because the reason for that is usually for interest rate hikes, higher rates are offered, and bond A will decrease more than bond B because of its longer timeline to maturity, and therefore bond A will face more decline. Both will face decline, but bond A will face more decline. Along the same note, what will be the effect of the price change for bond A and bond B when there is an interest hike? So bond A's, as I said, bond A's price decline will be greater than bond B due to its longer maturity time. And to substantiate that with this concept with a numerical example, let's say that bond A and bond B share a value of $1,000. The rate of interest 10%. And let's say the rate of interest has shot up to 10% for these two bonds. And bond A has a longer maturity period, 30 years. Bond B has a shorter maturity period, 5 years. And the coupon rate is same for both bond A and bond B, which is 5%. So the formula will be 5% of the coupon rate of the value, which is 50, into 1 minus 1 plus 0.10, which is the interest rate, power minus 30 for bond A, minus 5 for bond B, which is the maturity periods, divided by the interest rate, which is 0.10. Add that to the value divided by 1 plus the interest, 0.10, power 30, which is the maturity period. And this will give you the value of $528 for bond A and $810 for bond B. And you can clearly see that bond A has decreased a lot than bond B, which is like 47%, whereas bond B has decreased only 18%. This proves the concept that we just discussed. And let's say there is a slowdown in next 12 months. What will I do? What will I recommend as an investor? So I would recommend to go for the shorter bond because they are less volatile to certain market rate increases and market rate structures changes. And I'll go for some other investment strategy like high yield savings account or variable rate bonds, whereas variable rate bonds is a really good option. It will save you from the rate drops, and also the rates will be adjusted to the market rate changes compared to the other type of bonds. And that's about it. These are the references that I have used for the assignment. And thanks for listening to me.